Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here for our interested parties meeting. We're going to give folks just a minute to get into the room. So we should start here maybe right about, well, we'll give it another 30 seconds or so. I'm going to watch the attendees numbers and we'll get started as they start slowing down. So thanks for being here. All right, I think that we are in a good place to get started. Thank you all for being here. My name is Ariel Finney, and today we're going to be doing an interested parties meeting for draft rule text for the WA Cares program. We're pleased to present our draft rules for your consideration and look forward to your feedback. Um, I'm joined today behind the scenes by several of my colleagues who have been part of the rulemaking process. This presentation today is being recorded and will be available on the WA Cares rulemaking website. Our purpose for today is to hear feedback from interested parties on our rule text to inform our proposed rule text, cost benefit analysis, and small business economic impact statement as we prepare to file our CR 102. Our agenda for today is up on the screen. It's a fairly straightforward agenda. If you've joined us before for other interested parties meeting where we've reviewed rule text, we'll follow the same format. We will cover brief housekeeping items before providing a rulemaking update or kind of a rulemaking review here for what we're looking for today. Most of our time will be used to review and discuss our draft rule text. We are scheduled for 30 minutes. We will take the time that we need within that 30 minutes. Our draft rule text today is fairly straightforward, but I think we should be right about that 30-minute mark. Our chat is currently disabled. We will make it available when we begin our draft rule text review. If you need to reach me or my team, please use the question and answer feature. We ask that any questions about the program are directed to wacars@dshs.wa.gov. Our time today will be specific to draft rules that we'll be reviewing shortly. The recording of this webinar and the slide deck will be available on our WA Cares rulemaking website that's listed here on the screen. Please allow us a few days to process the recording and post it to the website. So for today, our ask for you all is to provide comments and feedback. We are going to be accepting written comment through September 4th, and we are reviewing feedback as we receive it. We will use comments and feedback to inform our final rule text, our cost benefit analysis, and our small business economic impact statement. You can submit any written comments to myself at ariel.finney2@dshs.wa.gov. I'm also going to give just a brief verbal update on our rulemaking activities here. We do have a public hearing coming up on September 9th to talk about or to cover material that we have previously reviewed in our interested parties meetings, and that's going to be our rates and reimbursements, appeals, and notices of department determinations. So again, that'll be September 9th, and that'll be at 10 o'clock. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. And again, my email's here on the screen. Our ask today is that we're looking for fresh eyes and new perspectives to create clear and direct rules. Please let us know what you think could improve the material. And please let us know if you see an impact from the rules for beneficiaries, providers, or others who will be participating or engaging with the program. And if something is unclear to you, please bring it to our attention. Certainly, if you have that question or something feels unclear to you, it's likely that that may be unclear to others as well. And bringing it to our attention allows us the opportunity to try to address that before moving the rules forward in the rulemaking process. I have some questions for us to kind of work from today as we look at the draft rule text, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. I put this here just simply to kind of help us kick off a discussion and just kind of plant these seeds as we look at the draft rule text. My questions for you all to think about as we move forward is whether the rule text is written in a way you can understand and follow. Are the expectations and requirements clear? Are there areas that need further description to be clear? And do you see a disproportionate impact to small businesses with how the rules are currently written? All right, I'm going to transition us over to our draft rule text. You should be seeing our PDF here of our pilot rule. Well, I'm going to take just a second here to open up our chat. So folks should be able to use the chat now as part of our discussion. So if you are seeing something other than this PDF, please let me know. And as we work on reviewing here, please know you can use the chat feature. You can also raise your hand and I will work on keeping an eye out and allowing you to come off of mute. So whichever way feels best for you to participate, feel free to do that. Really, this time is designed for us to have a little dialogue here around these rules, for you to ask the questions that you need to understand this content. But also we're looking for feedback on opportunities to improve this before we move on to the CR 102 process. All right, let's talk about the draft rule that we have today. We only have one rule, and that's going to be proposed rule WAC 388-116-1020, which is for our pilot program. We say here that the purpose of the pilot is for the department to assess administrative processes and system capabilities in preparation for implementation of the full program. The department will conduct a pilot from January 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2026 for the benefits under this chapter. The department will accept up to 400 applications for benefits in order of receipt based on the date of application. The department may accept additional applications if the department does not enroll a sufficient number of beneficiaries to obtain necessary data from the pilot. The department will accept applications for benefits from January 6, 2026 until March 31st, 2026. Applicants and eligible beneficiaries must reside and receive services within Lewis, Mason, Spokane, or Thurston counties. Applicants and eligible beneficiaries may not be enrolled in Apple Health, which is Medicaid, including long-term services and supports for the duration of the pilot. During the pilot, approved services do not include memory care services or nursing home services. Benefits used during the pilot are deducted from the beneficiary's lifetime benefit units. Pilot participants will remain enrolled as eligible beneficiaries after termination of the pilot and subject to all other sections of this chapter. Unless explicitly modified in this section, all other sections of this chapter apply to the pilot, and this section shall be repealed on July 1st, 2026. So that is all of our content for today for the draft rule text review. I'm going to pause here and see if we have any questions or comments. And again, if you'd like to participate, feel free to put any comments or questions in the chat, or you can also raise your hand and I will allow you to come off mute. All right, we have some questions coming in here. Joan's asking what it means that the department may accept additional applications if there is insufficient beneficiaries. That is hopefully not going to happen. Hopefully we'll hit our 400 right as we have planned, but we understand there may be circumstances that change somebody's path that we may end up not having reached our 400 or the 400 applicants that we have received uh, aren't sufficient for us, and we may ask for an additional 25 or 50. And this just allows us to go up a little bit higher to what the statute says, which is up to 500. So looking to the idea that there could be times that the path that we picture for these applications do not pan out, we may need additional to get the data that we need for this pilot project. See, Nick has a question on number 4 has January 6th as application start date. And should that number 2 match this date? Yes, and that's a great observation here. We did do January 1st to align with statute. The statute says our pilot will run January 1st through June 30th. However, we will not be here because January 1st is a holiday. And our official date for accepting applications as the program here is going to be January 6th. So statute, we're aligning here as far as when the actual pilot will start. And the work that we will be doing will also be beginning January 1st or when we return to the office. But the applications will be accepted starting January 6th. Okay. We got a question that came in regarding what happens when the pilot is repealed to the contracts with providers such as home care agencies. And those contracts will continue. That will be rolled over into the larger program launch, and the contracts that are going to be used for the pilot will apply to the larger project and go live. So services that are provided starting July 1st. I thought I saw a hand raised, but I don't see it now. So if you're somebody who had a question and wanted to come off mute, feel free to raise your hand again. All right. Any other questions or comments here regarding our draft rule text?
Ariel, it looks like there is a question or a couple of questions in the webinar chat.
Yeah, I think I answered those. I'm seeing the question from Joan and from Nick. Are there other ones that I'm missing here?
No, those are them. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. All right, I'll give us another few seconds here to process. Again, you're welcome to use the chat as well as raise your hand. And I believe I've answered the question that was in the Q&A feature as well, so I think I'm all caught up. All right. I'm not seeing anything more, but I'm going to continue us forward here in our slide deck to close us out. You should be seeing our resources section here. I am going to drop in the chat the list of resources that are on the screen, as well as how to reach me if you have any written comments that you'd like to provide. We are accepting written comments through the end of the day tomorrow, and that will be September 4th. So if you didn't get a chance to fully process today, or you do have a question that comes up after the session ends, feel free to send that over to me, and I will be monitoring those comments, doing my best to get responses back. All right, I see some more questions coming in. So will the Medicaid rule apply to the full program as well? And no, that is only going to be in effect for our pilot. Once the full go live happens, that restriction won't be in effect, and we don't have that in any other rule. So as this rule gets repealed July 1st, folks who are on Medicaid will be able to come through the program as they would like to. And Kathy, we have a question regarding why not memory care services? And we are juggling some changes that are happening with memory care regarding a bill that passed in this last legislative session that's going to be changing some of the requirements. And we need some of those requirements to take effect for our services and registration. So that memory care will be available as an approved service starting July 1st. But for our pilot and just given the changes that are happening in statute and WAC for memory care services, we've decided to exclude those for this program, for the pilot, excuse me. All right. All right, all. I'm not seeing anything else, but again, feel free to reach out to me. I am going to be available today and tomorrow, as well as Friday, with for any questions that are coming in. We do plan to be moving towards our filing a CR 102 here, probably sometime here in September. So just know your comments are going to be helping us prepare for that, thinking about this potentially in all the different directions that we would like to think about it to make sure we have the best product possible. So just know if you didn't get a comment in today, there's still plenty of opportunity to do so. Feel free to email me at ariel.finney2@dshs.wa.gov. Otherwise, I just want to say one more time, if you've been here before, um, I'm going to say this all again, but if this is your first time, I also want you to hear that just how incredibly grateful we are that you take the time out of your day to be here, to take a look at our draft rule text, to provide comments, to ask us questions. It really helps us get to the best possible end product that we can get to. And each one of these sessions have been really important to the rulemaking team here at WCARES. We take this feedback back, we discuss it, we look at the draft text again. We look at our cost benefit analysis. So really know that your voice is really critical to this process, and I really deeply appreciate you being here and taking the time to engage with this process with us. So with that, I'm gonna stop here. I don't see any more comments or questions, but again, send me an email if you have anything. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for being here.